Jambo mambo familia angu mimi ni Eli-Ben-Eli. Habari gani karibu. I decided to make another video today, and I was watching something earlier, and I must say, if you are to judge on the basis of appearances, you know, Marwa's Villa in Medillin, the Thrilla Villa, the Thrilla that is the cite of the future rumble in the jungle, la fiesta de esta Africa. You know, it looks really nice. The lights look really nice and everything. I'm laughing because of something that was said by Black Beauty. She said something. She said something that was really funny. She said that Marwa is suffering from a very rare condition. You know, he called it ass diarrhea. I mean, ass malaria. Ass malaria. I have never heard of ass malaria, but apparently he's suffering from that condition. You know, I gotta say something, and this comes from the bottom of my heart. I'm really hoping that everything works out well. It's like I'm really hoping that Marwa, that the party goes off without a hitch, that the house not collapse and sink into the ground. I'm hoping for all of that, but you have to consider, the receipts that we have. All of us have seen the videos of what happened when a heavy rain came along. There is a rumor going around, and I cannot say, let me hasten to say, that I have not seen this with my own eyes. But before I say that, let me say this. If you haven't liked and subscribed, please like and subscribe. My understanding is that they attempted to put up the gate, and the gate collapsed. It isn't that anybody wishes Marwa bad luck. What we are talking about is an objective observation of facts. The objective observation of facts indicates the following. Okay? We already know that the clay pool, or the clay bath, the bentonite bath, whatever you call it, has proven to be an unmitigated disaster. It rained really heavy and it got washed out. Pardon me for the noise. It rained really heavily and it got washed out, and poor only Mawira was driven from the village, just as I in Paris has been driven from the Villa Medellin by the king of Nyako, the emperor of emperors, capo de tutti capo. He has driven her off, and of course, nothing is his fault, so he puts the blame on her. He is supposed to have promised her that when he reached 500,000, he would make her his permanent PA, which he reneged on. And the girl had an incident in which her mother was sick or whatever. She went home, apparently had an opportunity to think about what she was doing with her life, went back, and left. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I have had several secretaries. I have had several other people who have worked for me. Other than the one time that I had a girlfriend who I gave a job to and she was living with me, I have never heard of somebody letting their PA or their secretary share the bedroom. Share a bedroom with them. To me, that indicates that there was something going on. Apparently, Marwa likes his fish to be pale in color. So when his current paramour, who comes from Argentina through Mexico, by way of Mexico, when she was ready to come, Marwa may have been having some kind of dealings with, pardon me for that noise, Marwa may have been having some kind of dealing with Paris. And just like he lied to her about making her his permanent PA, you and I both remember the climate that was afoot. People were talking about Paris as if she was Marwa's woman. If a man and a woman are sleeping in the same bedroom and she's cooking for him and everything, a man may be very in love with his girlfriend, but when he looks at a woman with a nice round behind and pretty looking lips and a pair of nice bosoms, and his girlfriend is somewhere hours away by plane, unless Marwa is made out of plaster, when that rungu gets started, maybe something was going on. And just like he promised that he was going to make her his PA and didn't, maybe he was making other kinds of promises, because the way that she left and moved to town, first went to visit her mother, then came back, then moved to town, it looks to me like if there was something personal afoot that made her kind of angry. And he has complained that his PA, here comes that noise, maybe not. He has complained that his PA left without giving him any notice. To me, that sounds like a woman who's upset. That sounds like a woman who might have even been a girlfriend who has walked out on her boyfriend. We know that Marwa is very discriminating racially. He doesn't like black women. That doesn't mean that he won't take advantage of being with one. If you remember Serpentina, La Mamacita from Jamaica, who was going around with him, and it was kind of obvious that something was going on. And he cautioned her that he had a girlfriend. Maybe it was the same kind of situation with Paris. The way that I read Marwa is not the kind of man who is going to do without the company of a woman just because the woman that he wants to be with is not there. This is the same man who has gone around boasting about how he intends to be married to 5 women or whatever. But there's something going on with that, and it's like, I predict the following, okay? Before I say that, let me remind all of you. Remember Bo, please. Remember Priya. Remember. What are some of these? There was a girl in Brazil, and then there's his current girlfriend. Homeboy doesn't have a history of hanging on to women for very long. I predict that at some point or the other, this whole thing is going to go haywire. Okay, it's going to go left of center. Marwa is not a very wise person. And something tells me that he's surrounded by this cult of women who are very, very adoring. And a man can say that he prefers white women to black women all he wants. When that rungu stands up in the middle of the night, and there's a very beautiful woman with a round behind down the hallway, you might think twice about laying back and waiting for your girlfriend. I guess, there's a vibe that's going on that indicates to me that this situation with this girl is not working out. After the first initial videos that showed them together, they haven't been together all that much. Whenever you see a man and a woman, if there is something going on in between them, they like to spend time together. Apparently that's not the case here. And there are a lot of videos that are coming out of her spending time in the company of other men. I predict that this is not going to work out. I predict that this is not going to work out. Having said that, I will say this. Marwa, the villa is looking very, very nice. The lights are excellent, and slowly but surely it is coming together. However, okay, 2 and 2 will never equal 3. Your house was sloppily built. Your gate cannot stand. Right in front of your house, you have that awful, ugly-looking bird cage or bird house. I predicted, the other problems that we cannot see right now are going to start coming to the front. And the biggest example of that is the disaster you had with your plumbing, which is causing a lot of delays in finishing the house. I predict that more of those kinds of things are going to happen. Do I feel happy about it? No. I honestly hope that everything goes well for you. But, what is that young lady by the name of Jane Kinga? What happened to her? I have a theory that goes like this. What goes around comes around. And there's a saying that they have in America. I don't know whether this saying is used in Kenya, but they say that what goes around comes around. And I think that you have built up a psychic, spiritual debt that is going to come due, and the time that is going to come due is either during this party or before it. God does not like ugly. The treatment that you gave fellow the boy, the treatment that you have given other people, the abusive behavior you showed to Jane Kinga, and your general attitude of exploiting others, it's going to cause problems. By the way, I saw a video by one of the cult members of Marwa talking about negative reactors or positive reactors. I'm not a reactor. I'm not a Marwa follower. I'm not a reactor, negative or positive. I'm none of those things. I'm making social commentary. And you may not understand what that means. That means that I comment on the things that I see going on in the village of Nyabohanse. Why? Because I'm interested in the village of Nyabohanse. I have a certain concern for the people of Kenya. There was a time when I was close to a lot of Kenyans, but I have no war with Marwa. He has never, we have had dealings in the past and they were pleasant. I don't have any grudges or hostility toward him. He never has insulted me or anything like that, but I just don't like seeing a young woman publicly humiliated. I don't like the way that fellow the boy has been outcasted by you. I just don't like seeing other people have their kindness and generosity abused with constant demands for donations and, constant fundraising. In the scheme of things, Marwa, you are far more successful than the average Kenyan. And yet, do we see the average Kenyan endlessly begging people to give him stuff? No. I can, sometimes what you don't see is more important than what you see. Marwa, make peace with God. Seek the forgiveness of those you have wronged. Your health is beginning to fail. And that rainstorm where your house was flooded was an omen. It was an indication of things to come. And something tells me that before this is all done, a flooded mud bath, you getting malaria. Nobody really knows what you have. Do you have malaria? Do you have pneumonia? Do you have COVID? Do you have the flu? Do you have hepatitis? Cholera? I think I might have mentioned cholera. I don't know. But the God of heaven doesn't like ugly, and your behavior has been very, very ugly toward the people that I have mentioned. Let us hope that God doesn't place His hand upon you and doesn't weigh you down and doesn't demand the ultimate thing that all of us will one day face, and that is that you lay down and sleep. Okay, that you lay down and sleep for until something changes in the universe that would reawaken those of us who have gone permanently to sleep. But in the meantime, I wish you well. Shout out to Fellow the Boy. Shout out to Diana Kemi. Shout out to Baby Carol. And shout out to AM Carol, Untrending, and African Reactor, as well as Mr. Nice, and all of the people who have shown me love and have reached out to me in friendship. I wish each and every one of you well. I feel very, very happy today because after a series of problems that I've been having, I got some excellent news and some wonderful things are going on in my life, and I'm about to make some changes and everything, and I'm about to do some things differently. And they're gonna help me to help you. Any of you who might want to come to America, I'll be more than happy to give you assistance. And having said all of that, let me just make a suggestion to all of you. If you are a YouTuber, okay, there are people here in America that are making films, short movies, and sometimes even feature-length movies, using nothing more than a cell phone. Not all of you are going to be Marwas. Not all of you are going to be super successful by being on YouTube. But I suggest to you that you might be very successful in another way. Okay, I suggest to you that what you need to do is look at places like Nollywood, Bollywood, all of these places where a film industry has arisen. If you start doing what a lot of people are already doing here on YouTube, which is making web series and short web films and everything, you people in Yabo Hansid might create a new film industry. A film industry in Kenya doesn't really much exist at the moment. You have the option of doing that. Please don't put your eyes up on a frail man who I suspect the circumstances will soon prove to be just that, a frail man. And again, I don't wish Marwa ill, but do what Diana Kemi has done. Nasto, Mayugono, a lot of these other people, in imitation of Marwa, are building houses and doing a lot of begging along the way to get money to complete their houses. Diana Kemi bought a piece of land and is building a traditional earthen house. Some people might call it a mud house or whatever. It doesn't matter. The point is that she's using the earth that she walks on, and water, and wood, to build herself a home. And she's not begging anybody. She's not employing an army of people. She's doing it mostly with her sister, with the aid of her mother and brother, with the aid of the Burundian traveler and a handful of other people. But the point is that it's working. And who's to say what that house is going to look like when it's completed? The point that I'm making to all of you is this. Don't act like sheep running after a shepherd. God gave you a brain. God gave you intelligence. Use that brain and intelligence. Define your own future. Define your own path. And like I said, some really exciting things are going on YouTube. It doesn't have to be about becoming a traveler and It doesn't have to be about making any kind of videos. You can actually make films. And I think that people that think creatively here on YouTube will eventually end up being very successful and very wealthy. Once again, let me ask you, if you haven't done so already, please like and subscribe. I wish you all well. Marwa, I wish you well. And I urge you to change the way that you're behaving and consider, instead of always having your hand open and asking people to, or allowing people to give you gifts, consider giving other people gifts. Consider not being so greedy. At any rate, familia, Ango Kwaheri. Hopefully I'll make another video tomorrow, inshallah. Bye-bye.